Hello, Father Gaffney here, and I have Father Jack with me. And we thought we would have a little video that we can send out to you, welcoming Father Jack back after his retirement. On July 1st, he finished up as pastor, and I became the pastor. And many times parishioners have asked, have you talked to Father Jack? Have you seen Father Jack? And I said, yes, I've talked to him, I've seen him, and weekly I call him with a few questions. And I thought it might be nice to invite him back and just have a little chat about, well, what are these first months of retirement like? So, October 1st will be 3 months of retirement. Father Jack, welcome back. And
thank you.
How has it been for you?
It's very nice to be here with you. I hope you got the milk I left you in the refrigerator. And I think there was a half a dozen of eggs too, but I didn't leave much food. But I'm very happy to be here. I only wish that some of the parishioners could be here so I could see them as well. It's been an interesting time for me, certainly a big adjustment. But being retired is a very different way, and I'm finding that retirement is a very different way of life. But not exactly what I had envisioned, mostly because of the coronavirus pandemic, Many parishes that would have utilized my services don't need them because they've had to drop masses. They don't have as many masses on the weekend. They don't have as many people attending. And many priests who would go away in the summer on vacations did not go away this year. And so I am helping in 3 parishes, in Lincoln, in Western Cranston, and in Warwick. And they all have different ways of doing things, and I try to remember who does what where. I make mistakes. But I'm very happy to continue the Eucharistic ministry of the priesthood, and I'm so glad that I have the opportunity to celebrate Mass and the sacraments still where I'm needed.
That is good. As you know, the retired priests are a great help in our diocese. Father Mahar's been coming here for many years, and many of our retired priests do help out in the parishes, and it really is a great help for all of us. Now, I know 3 months out, but as you have been away, stepped away even in these months, as you look back over your time here at St. Bernard's, are there any sort of memories that kind of come out strongly, or that you think about, or is it too soon?
Well, it may be too soon, and yet when you ask the question, there's many, many memories that come to mind. I mean, we had many, many good times here. We really did. In spite of the many challenges this parish had to face after the construction of the church and the large debt that was left, and the fact that we had no gathering space other than the church, there was no parish center, or the office was in a different location, there were an awful lot of challenges. But immediately, I felt a sense of support, great sense of community, and I think one of the things that many of the parishioners here probably don't always recognize is what a very friendly and warm, welcoming community they are. Often I would hear this from people who were visiting from other parishes at Mass here, and after Mass they would say, "Oh, Father, what a wonderful parish you have here. I wish my parish was more like this." And I often thought, the people of St. Bernard's don't hear that. I heard it, but they didn't. I think there are a couple of very happy occasions that do come to mind. One was a wedding we had at an 8 o'clock Mass one morning, where a couple who were both in their 80s were widowed and decided to get married. And there was another couple in their 80s who had done the same thing just a few years before I arrived. And so at that 8 o'clock Mass in the morning, they came all dressed up. This other couple stood as their witnesses. The morning Mass community brought a cake and some flowers, and we had a wedding at the 8 o'clock Mass for this very elderly couple. What a joyful, joyful time that was. Very, very special. And the other, of course, was the dedication of the new parish center. I think that was a day that really changed the history of the parish. They had an opportunity to come here to this new building and celebrate their accomplishment, what the parishioners had made possible, without increasing the debt to the parish. And so those would be 2 events that really do stand out.
Yeah, oh sure. And really the good work that you did here and the good work of previous pastors like any new pastor, I'm the beneficiary of all the good work that's gone before me. So I'm certainly grateful to you, to the pastors before you, to this community, to parishioners who have been so supportive. And it's a new chapter, as you kind of said, you know, now with the church, with the gathering space, with the offices. It's kind of a whole new chapter in the life of a parish, which is kind of normal. That's what happens, you know, a new chapter in the life of a parish. And as you said, there are new people who come to Mass. It's already happened where they'll say, oh, this was my first time here. People who move into the area, people registering, and I think they do find that welcome, which I think that was helped by certainly your leadership and that whole tone.
And the leadership before me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Was always known to be a very welcoming parish.
Yeah, yeah. What do you see as some of the challenges for parishes during this time? You're helping in other parishes. Maybe you're aware of just challenges in general that we know some of them, but that parishes are encountering at this time.
Well, we know that there has been a decline in church attendance for the past several years. I think that what the pandemic is doing is forcing us to deal with the reality of the fact that things are changing in such a way in the church that we can never go back to the way we did things before.
Sure.
It provides not just a challenge for how we're going to keep the church clean and sanitized, but how are we going to continue to be a sacramental presence in the world, preach the gospel message, and do it in an effective way in a culture that has really walked away from us and no longer sees religion as an important factor in how we are. The church, I think, should be a lighthouse. A lighthouse is silent, but it shines a bright light. Mm-hmm. And I think one of the things parishes will do in their communities will be a bright light of hope, of promise, a place where people will feel welcome, will feel the presence of God, and will get guidance in the confusing and turbulent moral issues that are surrounding us. The church needs to be that bright light, but it's not going to be able to shout it out anymore.
Yeah.
We will have to be, not like the old days where the parish was the center of the neighborhood and the community. Now we're going to have to be a guide for the community that is diverse and a welcoming community to welcome those back who are seeking the truth.
Sure.
So it's a great challenge, and one of the things about retiring is I realize the future isn't mine. As far as my priesthood is concerned, but I'm very concerned with trying to help the church find its way into the future.
Sure. With
the guidance of good leadership and good parishioners who are strong in their faith.
Well, it's continuing the mission in a difficult time, and COVID, I guess, is just the most recent challenge, but it sort of highlights many of the other challenges, but it's how do we continue the mission, and I think we do need to be that beacon of light. You now have a little more free time. There's some things that you've been able to enjoy in these 3 months that, well, maybe you had put off a bit. How has that worked out?
Yes, one thing is I've caught up on my reading. I try to balance my reading with, I read a certain percentage of theology, try to keep myself current, and I subscribe to some periodicals that help me with that. But I also love good murder mysteries. Oh, I just love them. And so I've had a pile of them like this that I've been waiting to get to, and I'm getting some ground done on that. I enjoy that. But also I'm preparing, I'd like to write. I'd like to write more, and I'm beginning to do that. And in my new ministry for the diocese with the retired priests, I will have an opportunity to visit the priests who are retired. There are more than 90 retired priests in the diocese. Many of them are very elderly in their late 80s and a few in their early 90s. Some are in healthcare facilities in various stages, I guess, of aging. Some are still very active and very independent. But my role will really be to be a liaison between them and the diocese and their bishop, so that they will not forget or think or come to feel that they are not important, or they no longer matter, or that they no longer have a contribution to make. Because we as priests are priests until we die. And part of my role is to help them continue to minister in whatever way they can and to do Christ's work together with them. And I'm really looking forward to the challenge. I think it's going to be a very exciting one for me.
Sure.
And I get older too.
Exactly, but it is such an important ministry, as you say, to reach out to our senior priests, and I know they appreciate that, and it's a way of connecting them to the diocese, to the bishop, to other priests, and certainly your great example of priestly fraternity and reaching out as you were a pastor here and in your priesthood. I think it just continues in this new way, so
Yeah.
it's a great service, really.
I'm looking forward to that.
That's good. Well, I told...
But I miss the old place.
See?
You know, there's often I wake up in the morning and I say, gosh, I got mass at 8 o'clock, and then I realize I'm not at St. Bernard's anymore. Or one thing, and this is a little secret, please don't tell anyone I told you this, but you know, at our age, you don't always sleep through the night. And I sometimes go to the wrong part of the room looking for the bathroom because it was in a different place in the rectory. So there's still a part of me that thinks I'm living here.
Living in a new place. Well, I've told Father Jack, to all our parishioners, he's always welcome back here at St. Bernard's, and we're grateful for his time here and all of his hard work, and always welcome back. We look forward to having you back and having you come to visit, and it's a great pleasure, and thank you for being here today. And I know the parishioners will be happy to get caught up a little bit on what's been happening in these last 3 months. So thanks for coming today.
Thank you, Father David, and I thank you also for making the transition so very comfortable and easy for me. It's been a pleasure. I've known you for many, many years, so I had never had a doubt that you'd be the right pastor to come here. But you've been wonderful in welcoming me and keeping me involved in things. I'm very grateful for that. And to the parishioners that you know, you always have a front row. St. Bernard's Parish always has a front row seat in my life. And I keep you in my prayers all the time. I will never forget you.
Great. Thanks so much for coming in. Thank you to our parishioners for kind of tuning in to watch the video. And God bless.